professional counselor, host of We Need to Talk with Chris Godinez. This video is for educational and informational purposes only. If you feel you need a therapist, please go to Google, type in therapy, your city, Psychology Today will pop up. Click on that. It will have all of the therapists in your area. The views and opinions stated herein are mine and Mary June's alone. They do not represent the ACA, the APA, or any other person on the face of the planet for that matter. Boom, shakalaka, done. Hi. So this is Mary June Collins.
Hi.
Hi. She is an author, and she's a female, obviously. And the reason that I have Mary June on is because I wanted to talk with her today about telling your story. And Mary June has written a book, which I will shamelessly plug. It's called You've Been Set Up, and it is a Christian-based book. It is awesome, and it's really very, very, very inspiring. There's so many wonderful little stories in here that kind of give hope. And that's what I love the best about this book, is it's a hopeful book. It is a wonderful book. And Mary June, you wrote this how long ago? How long ago did you write this?
Well, it was published in 2010. So that now, oh my gosh, that's been 8 years ago. Time flies when you're having fun.
Time flies. It does. When you're having fun, it's going fast.
It's going fast.
Absolutely.
But yeah, 10 years ago, and it was a dream come true for me because it had been something in my heart forever. I would say, I started thinking about writing a book about, probably 20 years before it ever came into fruition. So a long, long time.
Perfect. So this is the point I want to make. And we got Susanna Quintana, who is also writing. She's a writer on here. Thank you, Susanna. I'm glad you tuned in. So this is the thing. We have got stories inside of us. Every single person on the face of the planet, and especially you guys in this tribe, have got stories inside of us. And it's important to tell them. So little interview time. So 20 years, this story was sitting inside of you.
Absolutely.
So what was the motivation? What happened to get you to actually write?
Well, so for 20 years, I was teaching the Word of God. I'm a Christian, and I believe that the Word of God is the truth. And I believe that it's the truth that sets you free. And so when we moved to Arizona, I found a really great church. It was the first thing I did because that was, 33 years ago. 33 years ago, I was uprooted from Ohio to Arizona. And I had 5 children, and they were all under the age of 12. And, 33 years ago, you do not have a cell phone. No. You don't have the internet. You don't have anything.
Right.
And so we moved out here. There was no one, no family, no friends around. And I just had my 5 children. My husband went off to work every day, and he was gone for 10 hours a day. And so the very first thing I did is, it was just me, God, and the phone book. And so the very first thing that I did is that I looked for a church, and we visited 2 churches. The second church was like, welcome home. I just knew that was the church for us. So I got stable in a church because I wanted to get to know people. And so I started going to church, meeting people, and then I started reading the Word. And I just absolutely fell in love. I became a student of the Word of God. And I saw the truth in the Word that was going to set me free from the mess that I was in.
And I want to interrupt and say your family background and my family background are very similar. Mary June came from abuse as well. Absolutely. And for her, and remember, this is why I'm including this, because even though I am Buddhist, she is Christian. And you cannot deny, if it helps somebody, it helps somebody. And this helped her. Absolutely. So this is her story of how it helped her through the abuse and how she found herself and turned around and helped other people.
That's right. That's absolutely right.
So talk to me about when you started writing. When did you actually sit down? I mean, what happened?
So like I said, I became a student of the Word. And not long after that, I started teaching the Word. And so I actually studied and taught the Word for 25 years in our church. I taught women's ministries. I taught marriage classes, women's conferences. We had big women's conferences that I led, and I also taught at them. And so when you're teaching something, Chris, you got to study.
Yep.
You got to know your stuff.
Yep.
And so I love to study. No matter what it is, if I get interested in something, I love to study it and get to the nitty gritty of it. So I really dug deep in the Word. And when I would do one teaching, one teaching, I would study 10 to 12 hours, maybe 20 hours. And I would write it all out on paper. And so I had files and files and files of mini books.
Right.
And so I knew in my heart, I wanted to compile all these books and make it into one book. And I knew the title. But every time I sat down to put it together, I couldn't get the rhythm of it. I couldn't, how do I begin it? What's the middle part supposed to be? I had so much information, I had to boil it down to what do I want in this one book.
Right.
So that was hard.
That was hard. It is hard. So it's just like when I did my last book, shameless plug as well.
Yeah.
This one, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him cha-cha. It was the same thing. So for me, it was 12, 13 years worth of counseling and all of these notes on these different cases. And this is valuable information that my people need to hear. And so writing stuff down and kind of formulating and, jotting ideas. And you did the same thing. It was like you just would kind of go, oh, this chapter, this verse, this thing, this, that. And for me, it was the same thing, except it was case studies. It was like, oh, this case study, that case study, this study that people had done, this referral
you
material.
have so much information.
Exactly.
And you just don't know what to use.
Exactly.
What should I use?
Overwhelming.
Yeah.
So how did you sort it through? How did you decide what stories went in, what stories went out? How did you formulate the book?
Okay. So I literally kind of gave up on the book.
Okay.
And at that time, my husband was like, "You're not giving up." And I'm like, well, I just feel stuck. I was stuck. And so at that time, some friends of ours asked us to go to a business conference in Hawaii. And Dennis and I said, we love Hawaii. Why not go? Why not, be motivated? And so we went to this business conference. And the very first speaker, it's like a week long. And the very first speaker got up. And right before we had gone down to the conference, to go to the conference, I can't remember the fight, but my husband and I got in a really big fight.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Can you imagine that?
Oh, no. Oh, no.
So, yeah, we did. I don't even know what it was. It was probably so stupid. But anyway, we did. And I was in the mad zone. And so I just sat there sulking. And I was just like not even hearing what the speaker had to say because I was in my zone.
Right.
And so after the meeting, my husband said, "Did you hear him? He was so good." I said, "Who?" Who?
Oh, no.
Yeah, I didn't even know his name.
Yeah.
So anyway, I said, he goes, "John Mason." And he goes, "Mary June, he was fantastic. And you know what? You should meet him. You should meet him because he's a book coach." And I said, "Oh, a book coach?" And he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "I really think he could help you with your book." And I said, "Oh, okay. Well, let's meet him. Let's go find him. Let's go meet him." And do you know, we went out to his table because, all speakers have tables with books and information. And he was never there. There's already somebody else running his booth. And so we never, the whole week that we were there, we tried to chase him down, but we could not find him anywhere. So on the very last day when we were supposed to go home, my husband signed up to play in a golf tournament. And I was just going to pick him up at the course and fly home to Phoenix. And so I'm sitting in the car waiting for him to come, to get in the car to go to the airport and fly back to Phoenix. And he's smiling from ear to ear. My husband, he's just like almost laughing. And he gets in the car and I go, "Wow, you had a good game, didn't you?" And he goes, "Yeah, I did. But guess who I played golf with?" He goes, "I played golf with John Mason." We rode in the same golf cart.
Oh my God.
So he literally had 4 hours of golf to play with this book coach. And of course, my husband, he's always for me. He's always trying to promote me. And he told John all about my book. And he said, "Would you please help my wife get this book written?"
Awesome.
And so he connected me with him. I signed up as his coach and I had a coaching call with him once a month. And he really directed me on how to do the outline on the book. And he read the book and encouraged me all the way. And then actually he ended up being my publisher because he owned Insight Publishing. So he ended up publishing the book too.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, it worked out just so perfect.
So, and see, this is important, guys. If you're not like me, who can just sit down and just start writing, because that's my process. It's like I just start writing and I'm done and I self-publish. I do the whole self-publishing thing. If you're not, if you feel like you can't do it on your own, a book coach is absolutely essential because they will help you organize, figure out, lay out what you're going to do.
Yes.
And in your case, he was the publisher as
yeah.
well, which is really, really awesome. Now, where can they find this book if they're looking for this book? Amazon. So guys,
Absolutely.
Mary June Collins on Amazon. Look up You've Been Set Up. It's a very good inspirational Christian book. It's got a lot of good stuff in there, and I want to keep talking about process. So, okay, so he helped you organize, sort through, figure out, publish the whole thing.
Yes.
So talk to me about what was the funnest part about doing this book and what was the most challenging?
Oh gosh. The funnest part about writing the book was well, like I said, I love to study, and I think that when I'm studying, I'm in heaven. I just dig deep and get such great revelation that it puts me on a high. In fact, I have a hard time pulling myself away from studying and writing. And so all that study was so much fun. But I think probably at the very end, I treated myself. At that time, we had a home in Tahoe. And so my husband and I went to Tahoe for about a month. And I literally every day spent probably 6 to 8 hours finishing up, fine-tuning that book. But I was in such a beautiful place, and it was such a I don't know, just the fulfillment part of it, and getting to the end of it, and knowing that you're at the finish line, and actually looking at it and liking what you did. That was the most fun, because it was so relaxing and just a perfect way to write a book.
That's
to get
awesome.
away.
Yeah. Oh yeah. If you can. Yeah. If you can. What I do is I write in between clients. So,
oh no.
Yeah. It's kind of like, not really relaxing.
Yeah. And I wrote in between breakfast, lunch, and dinner with 5 kids. So,
Yeah.
It was just at the end that I had that luxury.
Right. So what was the most challenging? What did you find, like the one where you just kind of went, ah?
Oh, the torment, the negative thoughts that come to your mind. Like, who in the heck is going to read this book? You are wasting your time.
Right.
You have nothing to say. Why are you doing this? You are a nobody.
Oh my God.
You just those negative thoughts that come against yourself and against your personality and your self-image.
Right.
And it's, you know what? Even if you deal with it, they're going to strike back again. Those arrows keep coming. I don't care where you are in your life. I've dealt with them. I've gotten rid of them, but the enemy's going to bring them again.
Right.
So it was just all that negativity that you have to fight off and say, no. No, I'm more than a conqueror. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And you know what? Even if nobody reads this book, I had that fulfillment inside of myself that I did it.
Bingo. Yes. And that's exactly what I've been talking to you guys about. What's going to happen is you're going to tell your story, and you're going to come up with 100,000 million reasons why you can't do it. Seriously, it's like this voice will pop up and it will say, no, you can't do it. Oh my God, what if the abuser finds out? Oh my God, what if the mom finds out? What if the dad finds out? What if this happens? What if that? What if?
Yes.
You must live in what is, and you must tell that voice to go itself sideways. I'm trying to be good because I know Mary June doesn't like it when I swear. Which
no,
you hear me normally.
But I love you.
I love
and
you
so
too.
you need to be yourself.
But,
you know what we have in common?
Respect. Mad respect.
And we love people.
Yes, we do.
And we want to help people.
Absolutely.
We have that in common.
Yeah.
Love is the common thread.
And love is the most powerful force on the face of the planet.
Yes.
It trumps hate.
Yeah.
It trumps everything evil. It does. And it does sometimes feel like the bad or the evil is winning. But like Mary June said, when those voices pop up, when those thoughts pop up, when you feel like, oh no, who cares? I don't have anything good to say, blah, 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 blah. You really literally have to, and I hate to sound like a comedian, but I'm going to say it anyway.
Not
today, Satan.
You get behind me, Satan.
Yeah, you really have to be like, not today.
That's right.
Not doing it, not playing, not anything. For you, I don't know if this was an issue for you or not, but when I published my first book, again, shameless plug, here we go. What's Wrong with Your Dad? Also available on Amazon. I think
my dad's in that book.
Yeah, he is. Oh, I read that chapter. Very interesting. When I did my first book, not so much with my second book, with my first book, I was terrified of it doing well.
Yeah.
Is that the weirdest thing ever? Because you would think, oh, I should be terrified of it failing, but it was the doing well thing that freaked me out, because I was like, what if people do read this? Oh my God, they will see who I am. Holy crap, you know?
Yes.
Did you feel that at all?
Oh
when you
my
read
gosh.
that?
I thought, you know what? If people find out who I really am, they're not going to like me.
Isn't that funny?
Oh. Yeah,
Isn't that
such
funny?
a lie?
It is. It is such a lie. And when people find out who you really are, guys, they're going to love you. They're going to adore you. You know why? Because you're real. Because you're real and you're speaking your truth. Okay, hang on. There's some questions I wanted to make sure that I caught. I'm going backwards. Everybody's saying hi. Hi, guys. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
So nice to see you all. Okay, so writing about your experience, absolutely. And basically, the best books are when you write what you know. Mary June is an expert in her religion because she studies 24/7. I am an expert in domestic violence because I study 24/7.
Yeah.
You guys are experts in you because you are with you 24/7. Do you see where I'm going with this?
And we need what you have to say. We need what you got.
Yes.
So, you know, the world needs you.
Yes.
You were designed for a purpose and a specific divine destiny. And you know what? You just have to get in the groove of that. And you just have to, actually, that's what I do in my book, is help people get into the pathway, get into that straight road that drives you down your God-ordained destiny, whatever you have in you, you know, and you all have gifts and talents.
Yes.
You just need to get in touch with them.
Yeah.
And then just bring them out.
Right. Exactly.
Let them flow.
Exactly. So, okay. So after you published it and you were dealing with all the fear and you told the fear to go away and you told to F off, what did you find challenging after that? Was marketing it a challenge for you? Talk about that.
Without a doubt, I did not know how to market my book.
Okay.
I really didn't. And I did a horrible job at it too. And I'll be honest with you. I just didn't know how to get it out there. I felt like the marketing part, I knew had no skills in whatsoever. So I did a really horrible job of that. And even though my church did market it in their bookstore, that was not my strength. And that is something on my second book that I will do completely different.
Right.
I just didn't have it together.
And that's okay. So this is the thing, guys. So somebody's asking, how did you find the time to write is question number one. Another question was, who works out the grammar? I'm afraid of grammar. Well, that makes two of us because yeah.
Well, you have somebody edit your book.
You have somebody edit your book. And does editing cost money? Yes, it does.
Yes, it does.
And if you want it done right, you're going to pay for it.
Absolutely.
Basically. It doesn't have to be hugely expensive. Like the editor who did my last book, the Cha-Cha book, I think was like $400, $600, something like that. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I saved it up because I knew I would need an editor. And the editor on my first book was ridiculously expensive. I would never do that again. You guys should not be paying over $600 for an editor. Right. I just want to say that.
Right.
The editor on my first book was like $2,000. And I actually had to fire the first editor in that company because she kept trying to edit it like a 9th grade high school English teacher.
Oh.
So every F-bomb was taken out. Every colloquialism was changed.
They cannot take you out of the book.
And they tried. They tried, which is why I was like,
Dad.
Hi, yeah, you're fired.
You're fired.
so yeah, you've got to make sure that you work well with your editor. And you did. You found an editor that you liked.
I did.
And did you interview them ahead of time or how did you do that?
We did. We interviewed over the phone.
Okay.
And I just really liked him. We were both on the same page.
Good.
Both on the same page.
Hugely important. Mm-hmm. So, for example, with Mary June, she, you know, this is a religious book. I'm not going to lie to you. This is a Christian-based book. Mm-hmm. Mine are not. Mine are filled with explicatives and, you know, psychology. Mm-hmm. So the first editor I got was highly offended by the F-bomb. So that was not a good fit at all.
No.
And with Mary June, if she had gotten an editor that was, say, for example, very opposed to organized religion, that would not have been a good fit. Or an atheist. Which would have been
that would not flow very well.
Weird. No. Yeah. That's why it's really important that when you finally get to the point where you are ready to edit, that you talk to your editor and then you make sure you're not getting, you know, overcharged, and you make sure that you guys are a good fit, because this is a collaboration between you and them. So for example, with mine, I said, look, don't change the content. I just need you to check the commas and the grammar and the this and the that. And that's all they did. And that's all I needed them to do, because I didn't need them to move stuff around.
No.
And what did you have yours move yours around? Or
No,
was yours mostly
they did
grammar?
not move it around at all. It's mostly misspelling, grammar. Yeah, misspelling. That's a big one.
Oh yeah, me too.
And grammar. But no, he did not change any of my stories at all.
Title of the book is You've Been Set Up. You guys can't see
Yay.
it. So You Have Been Set Up by Mary June Collins, available on Amazon. That was Donna Willard. Hello, Donna. How are you?
Oh, hi, Donna. Oh, my gosh.
I know she used to be my dog sitter.
I love you, Donna.
Back.
I know.
Okay, how do you find the time to write? How do you, well, you kind of locked yourself in a cabin.
I did. I did. At the very end.
At the very end,
Just, I set a time a couple hours a day. I really did. But like I said, most of my book was written as teaching, preparing myself for teachings. Mm-hmm. So I had it all written. It was just all filed away in cabinets, and I had to pull those files out and then figure out which ones I was going to use. Mm-hmm. But just an hour a day, a couple hours a day.
Right.
Just whenever your best time of the day.
Right.
I found that the morning time was the very best time for me for things to flow. Mm-hmm. Like in the afternoon, you got all the worries of the day, all the stress of the day.
And the kids coming home from school.
No, that's not a good time.
Yeah,
nighttime, you're too tired.
Right.
Morning time, I could find an hour or two to really sit down and concentrate on it.
Exactly. And for me, like I said, I will come up with ideas, and in the middle of the day when I've got 15 minutes in between clients, I'll go, aha, idea, get it out in my head onto paper, and that way it's there. Mm-hmm. So the way I would organize things is I would have a thought come to my head, I'd put it on paper, I'd leave a few blank spaces or a few blank pages, and then I would put the next thought or the next chapter or the next, do you see where I'm going? Because it's already kind of up here.
Yeah,
that's
good.
Super busy people, and you've got a good point. You're a morning person. Mm-hmm. It doesn't work. No. So for me, afternoons worked. So I would literally though, and this is what I tell my clients as well, because people come to me and say, how did you write these books? I don't understand. How do you get going? Mm-hmm. I would set aside, just like Mary June, an hour a day. And even if that hour a day writing is just complete crap, because sometimes it's going to be. Sometimes you're going to write stuff and you're going to go back and look at it and go, what was I thinking?
Exactly.
Oh my God.
Exactly.
But then you go back and edit it. And there's usually some little gems that you can pull out of that hour's worth of writing. Mm-hmm. So you make yourself go through every single day and write an hour, a half hour, 15 minutes, little thoughts, whatever, every single day, just so that you're constantly working on it. Because what will happen is if you don't, what's going to happen?
Oh my gosh, you'll quit.
You'll quit.
You'll quit.
Yeah.
You do have to be you do have to be working on it all the time, and know that it doesn't have to be perfect the first time around. Know that you yourself, you're going to go back and you're going to change things. I mean, you're going to take things out. I pulled so many things out and put new things in, because we're always growing. And if this is taking us, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years to write a book, look, we've grown those 20 years. We haven't gone backwards. We're going forwards. And so we got new information. We got better stuff. And so you're always going to be switching it out until you just got it. This is it.
This is it. Yeah. And I think one of the things we do suffer from, and I do want to address this big, huge question that we had, but one of the things we do suffer from is perfectionism.
Yes.
And that, I think, is the biggest killer of creativity, because what ends up happening is let's say we finally finish the book, but then we have a really hard time letting it go, like sending it off to a publisher, or sending it off to self-publishing, or sending it off to an editor. And I think at that point, because we keep going, oh, well, I need to do this better, or I need to rearrange this, or I need to, it needs to be perfect. Let me tell you something. If any of these writers had done that, none of them would be published.
That's right.
So even though it's not perfect, it's good enough. And that's what I need you guys to live in, is it's good enough. Okay. So there was a question about success. I'm a singer, but I'm terrified of success. I'm a remote session vocalist. I work from my bedroom closet and no one ever sees me. I'm afraid I'll be successful enough that someone will try or fly me to a big studio and everyone will see me and they'll reject me. It keeps me from getting into the studio and working on my album. I just do jobs for other people and then ignore my own career. It's debilitating. Yes, so that's self-esteem, guys. That is self-esteem.
Absolutely.
So my strongest suggestion would be to get with a really, really good therapist and start working on your self-esteem. I'm going to give out some suggestions. The Self-Esteem Workbook by Schiraldi. Okay. Excellent book. Get it. It too is on Amazon. Go figure. So the Self-Esteem Workbook by Schiraldi. I want you to start writing. I want you to give yourself permission. I want you to do mirror work. I want you to look yourself in the eyes and go, it's okay. It's okay for me to be seen. So when we've been abused, because you come from an abusive background as well, it's not okay for us to be seen. We try to hide, you know, and we try to keep ourselves safe, and we try to keep ourselves away, and we try to keep ourselves, you know, out of the limelight because we don't want to get punished.
That's so true.
So overcoming that little kid inside. So again, that's the inner child work. So the Inner Child Workbook by Catherine Taylor is another one that's going to help you. You've got to get in touch with how old you are, how old you feel when you think about being seen. Does that make sense? So if you're terrified of being seen, how old do you feel when that fear, and fear is false evidence appearing real, pops up? And then work with that inner child age with you so that you can comfort you and make yourself secure enough to know that when you are seen, you are loved. And this kind of goes in with the big picture thing. It's like, you're a child of the universe.
That's right.
You're beautiful as you are now. You are talented as you are now. There's nothing to hide.
Yes.
But our abusers, the dark side, have told us that we have to hide. So again, not today, Satan.
That's right. Not today, Satan.
Boom.
I am not falling for your lies.
Exactly. And the lie is that we cannot be seen. Go ahead.
That's right.
Go ahead.
And I dealt with so much low self-esteem. I was so insecure as a little girl, and then growing into a woman. I was very, very insecure. I was so fearful. Oh my gosh, I was afraid of everything. And so, you know, I had all this baggage that I was carrying around, even though I was happily married, even though I had 5 great kids, you know, I still was so hurting inside and had all this garbage inside of me that was hindering me and keeping me back from my God-ordained destiny. But if I could share something, I think that would really help your self-esteem. I do have my Bible here that I love. And actually what I'm going to share is what would help you with low self-esteem and all those other things, the fear, all that. And this actually, these are the scriptures that led me. They are the basis of my book. These scriptures are what really, really led me to write my book. And let me just read them to you really quickly. And this comes out of 1 Psalm 39. And it says, Lord, you know everything there is to know about me. You perceive my movement of my heart and my soul. And you understand my every thought before it even enters my mind. You are so intimately aware of me, Lord. You read my heart like an open book, and you know all the words I'm about to speak, even before I start a sentence. You know every step I will take before my journey even begins. You've gone into my future and prepared the way, and in kindness you follow behind me to spare me from the harm of my past. With your hand of love upon my heart, you impart a blessing to me. This is just too wonderful, deep, and incomprehensible. Your understanding of me brings me wonder and strength. And then one more scripture, it says, you, God, you formed my innermost being. You shaped me, my delicate inside and my intricate outside. You wove them together in my mother's womb. You even formed every bone in my body, and you created me in the secret place, carefully, skillfully shaping me. Does that not get to your self-esteem? You are skillfully and wonderfully made from nothing to something. You saw, God, who you created me to be before I became me. So God has a destiny for you. Before I'd ever seen the light of day, the number of days you planned for me were already recorded in your book. So what is that saying? That is saying that God knows you. He knows everything about you. You are skillfully and you are wonderfully made. And even before, and he wrote a book about your life, a divine destiny, a purpose for you alone. And he put everything inside of you to be able to do this divine destiny. And so your self-esteem, as you tell yourself, I am a child of God. God made me. He put me together. I have so many great things inside of me, and he's got a plan to make it all happen.
And God don't make mistakes.
And he don't make mistakes.
He don't make mistakes.
And so that's Psalm 139.
Preach it.
Look it up and read it.
So self-esteem. Yeah. I mean, honestly, and this is why, and people are probably going, oh my gosh, why are you going down this Christian path right here? Because not everybody is Buddhist, because not everybody is agnostic, because not everybody is atheist, because not everybody. And so we need to learn from everything. And
yes, we do.
If this helps you, then this message was meant for you.
Mm-hmm.
Boom, shakalaka, there it is.
Yes.
So, okay, so self-esteem. Yes, you are a child of God. You are a child of God. You are a child of the universe.
Mm-hmm.
What your voice has to say is vitally important.
Yes.
You need to be heard.
Yes.
You absolutely need to be heard. And our maker, our universe, or whatever did not put us here to be silent. They didn't put us here to not speak our truth.
No.
So it's all about
That's
speaking
right.
your truth. It's all about being you. So hang on, there was something else I wanted to talk about.
But the one thing that we all have in common is love.
Yes.
And if we emanate that love in our heart for one another, that unconditional love.
Yes.
I mean, I love you unconditionally.
And I love you unconditionally.
And it's just, and that is the truth. It's not made up.
Right.
It's something that you grow into.
And that's something you talk about in the book that I really, really loved, because you talked about forgiveness in here. Mm-hmm. And it was, there was an example that you gave of, it was an abusive relationship. And the woman decided to stay married until the kids grew up, which I understand why she did it. I don't agree with it, but it's okay. Mm-hmm. But at the end, she knew, like, knew she had to forgive the husband if she was going to be okay. Exactly. It wasn't about forgiving him for him. And this is what I keep trying to tell you guys. It's about compassion. It's about compassion for yourself. It's about compassion for other people. Do I have compassion for abusers? Yes, actually I do. It sucks to be them. I wouldn't want to be them for 2 seconds. I wouldn't. However, if we hang on to that hatred and that anger, guess who's won? The abuser.
Yeah.
So it's really about unconditional love for ourselves, for, every single living creature on the face of the planet, not putting up with crap. I want to make that very clear. I think this is where people get messed up with religion, because they seem to think that if you are a Christian, that suddenly that you put up with crap.
Oh, no.
And I don't know about you, girl, but I haven't seen you put up with crap.
No.
Y'all know I don't put up with crap. Bada bing, bada boom.
No.
So it's not about that. It's about being strong in your faith, whatever your faith is. I don't care if your faith is believing in nature outside, but believing in your faith, having faith, working towards your goal. And this is something else about your book that I really, really loved, is you talked about how the universe will set out actual paths, like signs, like seriously, like neon signs going, go here. But what most of us do, and especially if we're in the fog, is we put on blinders and we go, I can't see it. What do you mean? There's no path. There's nothing going on. I'm a victim. Oh my God.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. You've got to look.
You got to look. Open your eyes.
Open up your eyes. There's so much out there. There's so much opportunity out there. I mean, there's divine setups for your destiny every single day. I mean, and God's going to lead you straight into that setup.
And some of us will say that's fate. Or kismet, or spirit guides, or whatever your base of religion is.
Whatever you want to call it.
Whatever you want to call it. Yeah, exactly. But you got to keep your eyes open for opportunity. And when opportunity presents itself, please don't go like this or like this, or it's like run with it. Grab that opportunity. And I was going to say something really inappropriate, but I'm not going to. And run with it.
Run with it.
Which is the PG version of what I was thinking. So you guys know where I was going with that. All right. So another question is, I missed the beginning. Is this just about telling your story via book or any media? No, I think it's any media. Now, here's what we need to talk about. In my book, in the first book that I did, the What's Wrong with Your Dad, I had to change all of the names. So all of the names that are in the book are not real names at all. Okay.
Right.
Well, yeah, because I don't want to be sued. Thank you very much.
Smart girl here.
And again, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make me cha-cha. Same thing. I'm not, obviously HIPAA laws. I can't talk about actual clients.
Just the title of that book makes you want to read it.
I know. And I gotta give proper mad credits to Andy Brennitz for helping me with the title and with the artwork and finding the editor. And it takes a team, guys. It takes a tribe. It takes a village. It really does to write this. But it's more than just writing. So what I want to make you guys aware of, and even in Mary June's book, she had to change names and things like that. So when you do write your story, whether it is, just verbalizing your thoughts on Facebook, or whether it is writing an actual vlog or blog, or doing a video thing like I do, or writing a book like Mary June has done, or the books that I've done, you have to be responsible. So you do not want to set yourself open for lawsuits. Obviously, you can absolutely describe what's going on without using names. You can absolutely describe, because here's the thing, guys. How many times have you guys written in and said, you just described my situation to a T? Well, I don't know you from Adam, but guess what? Abusers all do the same playbook. So that's why it all sounds familiar. And this is also why every single abuser thinks I'm talking about them, because they all do the same playbook. So you can talk about your experiences, but do not use names. Absolutely do not, because that will be considered cyber stalking. Okay, if you're going to be talking on any sort of social media or any sort of blogging or vlogging or that kind of thing, you do want to be smart about it. Okay, you don't want to be stupid. You don't want to be stupid. So if you're using an example, change the names. Absolutely change the names, change the sex, change the ethnicity, change whatever you need to change. And that's exactly what I've done in my books. And that's, in Mary June and her little example, at least that one I was thinking of, for sure changed the names, because you can't use real names, guys. Right. You can't. Now, if you are in an abusive relationship and you are telling your autobiographical story, get a pen name. You absolutely can do work under a pen name. So there's hundreds of authors out there that have written stories, like Anne Rice is the first one I come to mind, because she did her vampire books, and then she did something really out there, and then she had a pen name for that one. So you can write under a pen name. So I hope that answers your question. I feel I need my share in my circle, but have heard people say not to because it's airing dirty laundry. I feel they are trying to silence me. So here's the thing, and especially in this topic, guys, there is always going to be a faction that wants victims of abuse, targets of abuse, to shut up. There just is. They don't want to hear it. It's too frightening. It's too uncomfortable. It's icky. Oh my gosh, you're talking about incest. Oh my gosh, you're talking about physical abuse. Oh my gosh, you're talking about domestic violence. Oh my gosh, you're talking about this. Shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Well, here's the deal. Can they switch to a different channel? Yeah.
There you go.
Can they defriend you? Yeah. They could.
There you go.
Can they go find whatever it is they want to talk about? Yeah, they can. I hate to break it to you, but they're adults. If they don't want to hear it, they don't have to listen to it. Just like if you guys don't want to hear what I'm doing on this channel, peace out. Do you see where I'm going with that? So and again, be smart about it. If it is just a laundry list of, I want to tell you how horrible this person is, well, is that really healing to you?
Yeah. Do you really want help?
Yeah. Bingo.
Do you really, really want help?
Or are you really helping someone else?
Yes.
So if it is just bagging on somebody and just, this person was so horrible, this person's so horrible, this person's so horrible, without giving a solution, why are you doing this?
Right.
That's kind of what you want to think about. Or if you're doing it and you're listing out all the stuff and going, this is what I went through. This is real. This is what other people go through. Okay, that's something else, because you're helping other victims or targets of abuse understand that you're not alone. They're not alone. But if you're just airing dirty laundry, that's a little different. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Did that make sense to you?
Gosh,
okay.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. That's not right.
Dawn is saying the Self-Compassion Skills Workbook by Tim Desmond. The Self-Compassion Skills Workbook by Tim Desmond. Okay. Yeah, so the perfectionism seems to be the thing that stops most people. Let's see. I'm glad this message was for you guys. Awesome. You're going amen. Good job,
Nice,
June.
nice.
Okay. Love conquers everything. Yeah, absolutely.
Donna, I love love. Oh, Donna, I love you.
We miss you. Come back.
Yes. We need to talk.
Seriously. And I need somebody to babysit my dogs. Come home.
That's right.
All right. Dog. God. Keep saying dogs. Oh, okay.
Well, his bark is so loud it sounds like there's 3 in there.
I know. How do you know what love is if you didn't grow up with it? Do you want me to field that one, or you want to field that one?
Oh gosh, how do you know what love was if you didn't grow up with it? Well, I grew up with in a fatherless home. My dad was never ever present, and as a girl, you need your father's love, his attention. You need him to be there. You need his lap to sit on, you need him to put your arms around you and tell you how beautiful you are, and just be at your events and be there cheering you on all the time. And when you don't have that love, that's where low self-esteem begins, because you feel like, if my own dad doesn't want me, no one wants me. I must not be important. I must not be pretty. I must not be worthy of love. And so, you just become this sad little person inside who is so needy and so insecure. And it's just devastating. So what was the question?
It was, how do you know what love is if you've never grown up with it? I think that
You've never grown up. You don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know, and you're always searching for it.
Right.
You're always searching for somebody to accept you and to love you.
Which is where self-esteem comes in.
Yeah.
Because it's not about other esteem. It's not about outside of you. It's got to be inside of you. So even though Mary June's dad was not around, and even though my dad was around, but he continually beat the living crap out of me, we both kind of got the same messages. So how did we turn out relatively okay? Well, we worked on our self-esteem.
Absolutely.
We worked on our faith. We worked on, Buddhism was a lifesaver for me. Christianity was a lifesaver for her. Does that make sense? So you work on what works, and you get that love by understanding. And I think this is true for both Buddhism and Christianity, that we are children of God, the universe, that we are loved unconditionally, that we are a part of something bigger than ourselves, bigger than our egos.
Absolutely.
And that there is a path, that you can take if you've got your blinders off, that you can go down to enrich yourself and enrich other people and heal yourself and heal other people. So I think the biggest thing for both of us is, as we healed ourselves, we also found it important to turn around and give to others.
Yes. Yeah.
And that is going to sound like B&I right now. But it's it really giver's gain. It's like you stop being so egocentric and you start being outside focused. In that, you take what you've learned and you help other people. As you help other people, you also help yourself. Because I have learned a tremendous amount from my clients.
Yes.
Like just a tremendous.
Yeah. Oh, gosh,
yeah.
Oh, yeah. When you give love away, it's going to come back to you. When you give acceptance away, it's going to come back to you. And you can never be too generous. There's always occasion to love somebody. People out there need love. And so if you make it a point to, that's going to be my deal. I'm going to go out today and I'm going to find somebody who I can make their day better than if they hadn't have met me.
Right.
And so, you just draw. I actually draw because when I read the word brings the love of God into my heart. And so I am so filled up with the love of God, and his love is unconditional. And so when I'm so filled up, I've got to find a place to share it and to get it out there to other people. I want to, you're just bursting. You want to, run, and, I'm a hugger, and I'm an encourager. I love to encourage people and just love on them. So once you fill yourself up,
right,
however way you do,
right,
then you've got something to give away.
Exactly. And then Colleen made a beautiful point, said, look for the love in the beauty around us. A blooming flower, a cloud in the sky. When you start seeing beauty in little things, the big things come. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Girl, you need to write.
No kidding. There's a book waiting to happen.
Right there. Go, Colleen. Go. You got it. I mean, I just got goosebumps.
That's right.
That's exactly it. You start seeing the beauty in the world, and you start seeing the beauty in little things. And honestly, there are some people, and I'm going to swear, so just hang on.
Go ahead.
Some people out there, I swear, see, dog shit in beauty, and other people see beauty in dog shit.
Right.
Be the type that sees the beauty in the dog shit.
Right.
Because there's stuff that's going to happen. So yes, start noticing the beauty outside. This is a beautiful world. It really, truly is. It's only people that really make it.
And remember what Zig Ziglar said?
Which one?
Zig Ziglar.
Well, I know him, but which one did he say?
Which one did he say?
Which one did he say?
But he said, put on those rose-colored glasses so that you can look through those rose-colored glasses and see everything is good.
Except when you're dealing with an abuser. I just want to make that a caveat.
But you can find the gold in people.
Right.
Is what he was always about.
Right.
Just
unless you're dealing with an abuser, in which case see them for what they are.
Yeah.
It has to be a caveat. It has to be a caveat.
Right. I'm glad you're clarifying that.
Yeah. But no, I agree. It's like there is generally beauty everywhere. And even in somebody who's having a bad day, there's beauty everywhere. But do be aware that there are abusers out there. And there are people who are playing with the dark side, and you don't want anything to do with them. No. So, be realistic. But don't be, what's the word I'm looking for? Don't be so skeptical or so, what's the word I'm looking for? Like really critical, really negative. Don't be so negative that you cannot look and see the beauty that is around you and recognize that you are a part of it. Does that make sense? Okay, we got more.
And you can still love those people, but you love them from afar.
From afar. Far away.
But just still in your heart, you can have an unconditional love. Because even with my father, I never had a relationship with him, and he never saw anything that I accomplished. I was a cheerleader. He never saw me cheer. That was very hurtful. On senior day, where you go out on the field with your parents and have a big celebration. I walked out on the field with just my mom. That was a devastating day for me. I mean, I just, but what happened with that? Do we have time that I can tell the story what happened?
Yeah, absolutely.
So when I moved to Arizona, I didn't even miss my father since he was never there. I didn't miss my father. I didn't even think about my father. I never thought about my father until Father's Day. And then I thought, I need to go out and get him a card and send it. And I would go to the drugstores, and I would read cards, and I would just get sick inside because I realized all these cards were saying things that I never had. So what kind of card am I going to send to this guy?
Dear Dad, thanks for never being there. Seriously.
I would find the card with the less words on it as possible.
Bingo.
Hope you're having a great day. So anyway, then it was a couple years later, for some reason, something got into him, and he sent Christmas cards to my children, his grandchildren.
I remember this story.
His five grandchildren.
Oh,
and he sent Christmas cards, and he put little, $25 in them or something like that. And so, which was a nice gesture, and I thought it was very nice. But when I looked down at the cards, he had all their names wrong.
Oops.
And that was
devastating.
That was devastating to me because he didn't even know my kids' names.
Oh, no.
And I went berserk. I lost it. I screamed. I yelled. I said, what in the
bleep
is wrong with him?
Right.
He doesn't even know his grandchildren. And that was just such a sad moment for me. And I remember crying all night long. I cried all night long. And once I got it all out, all the anger out, you got to get the anger out.
Yes. Agreed.
I let it go. Boy, did I ever let it go. But I laid there in bed at night and I just cried and cried and cried. And I said, Lord, what am I going to do with this? And the answer I got back is that you need to love your dad unconditionally. If you honor your mother and father, there's a promise that you will live a long life and be successful. Well, I not only wanted that promise, but I wanted to please God with all my heart. And I said, God, I will love him unconditionally just because I want to please you. And so I called my dad and I said, we're coming to Ohio in the summertime, and I would like to stay at your house. Now, that was huge for me.
That's ginormous. Seriously.
I said, I got to be with them to be able to, form any type of relationship. And so I did. He said, okay. He was married to another woman then. And so he said, okay. And I ended up being at his house, spent the weekend with him. And I just said, God, please just give me unconditional love. Let me see the good in him. And he was a good person. He just didn't do family. And so he did. He opened up my eyes to some good things. And for the first time in my life, I was able to say, I love you, Dad.
I mean it.
I meant it. And I meant it. And when I said it, the power of my words broke all that rejection that I felt inside, all that hatred for him. I actually hated him, and I didn't even know I hated him until, when you face the beast, then you really know what's inside of yourself. Mm-hmm. And I faced the beast, and I found there's hatred in there. Mm-hmm. And that hatred is hurting me.
Oh, yeah.
It's not hurting him.
Doesn't hurt them.
No.
Mm-mm.
It was a cancer in my heart.
Bingo.
And I had to let go of this cancer.
Bingo.
And I did. And I told him I loved him. And I meant it with all my heart. Only by the love of God that's in me was I able to say that. And then, you know what? He died 2 years later. And I was at his deathbed. And I said, Dad, I want to see you in heaven. And I said, please pray this prayer with me. And I prayed that he would give his life to the Lord. He said the prayer. He repeated the prayer. I'll never forget it. Tears streaming down his face. He could barely talk at that point. He was dying of cancer. And he prayed the prayer. And then he looked up at me and smiled. And then he died.
Wow.
So what a beautiful ending to a horrible relationship.
Right.
Yeah. I know someday I will see him in heaven. And we'll start a new relationship together.
Bingo. And with my dad, very similar. It's scary how similar you and I are. So with my dad, I had a huge amount of anger for him. Like huge. Like it was eating me up inside. Mm-hmm. Like literally. And even after he died. And we did start kind of trying to make amends, right around the time he died. He had called me. And he had done his normal, racist, sexist, horrible, awful jokes where I just kind of went, wah. But, I just kind of went, yeah, okay, I could see how you think that's funny. I just accepted him. Mm-hmm. Unconditional acceptance, because I knew he was damaged and I knew I wasn't going to change him, Mm-hmm. And he said, I said, okay, Dad, I love you. And he said, I love you too, honey. And then 3 days later, he was dead. So my last words to my father, even though he was abusive, even though he was a horrible person, even though he had really big issues, was I love you. Because I did. Because here's the dichotomy that we get as children of, either alcoholics or abusers or whatever. Mm-hmm. We do love that parent on some level because they're your dad. They're our dad. They're our dad. Mm-hmm. They're our, they are a part of us. We are a part of them. Mm-hmm. We are all one, it's that whole universal thing. Mm-hmm. And I did love him, I did. And I also hated him, but, so I, the last words I said to him were, I love you. Unfortunately for one of my sisters, her last words were hanging up on him because she was so pissed at what he was saying with the racist, sexist jokes, which I had just learned to kind of go, I know you think that's funny. Okay, whatever. Mm-hmm. And so she had a great deal of difficulty coping with his death because of that. It took me years later, though, working, with Buddhism, with Christianity, with a therapist to realize that part of the anger that I kept hanging on to was a really inner child, misguided attempt to keep him alive.
Oh, yeah.
As long as I was pissed at him, as long as I was yelling at him and it's your fault and da-da-da-da-da and how dare you, he was somehow still alive. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Yeah. So then when I was finally able to let that go and go, duh, it's like,
I know.
Let it go. And oh my God,
let it go.
So much. Let it go. Yeah.
Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. I love it. That's my favorite song.
I know. But it was so much better because it's like hanging on to the anger doesn't change them. Hanging on to the anger doesn't fix them. Hanging on to the anger doesn't make them better. It makes us worse.
It makes us worse.
Yeah.
It
So
really does.
Forgiveness and compassion is for us and for them in a way, but mostly it's letting that stuff go, turning it over to a higher power. Yeah. Okay, AA, I'm going to pull out some AA on your ass. Turn it over to a higher power. I don't care what your higher power is. I don't care if it's God. I don't care if it's nature. I don't care if it's Boofa Baba. I don't care. Yeah. Turn it over. Yeah. Let it go. It's not going to help. All you're doing is they are now renting space in your head, and you need that space
and
for
that's torment.
you. Yeah, it's torment. That's total torment. Why would you do that? Do you mind if we go a little over? Are you okay with that?
Go.
Okay, good. Because we got more stuff to talk about.
Okay,
hang on. Okay, yes. How do you know it's actually love? I can't trust myself if it's real love. I thought I was in love in my previous relationship, only to have intense feelings go away. I think that she meant to say away, just like that. Yeah. So real love. And somebody's asking, how did we both find our amazing husbands? So that kind of pulls into it. Mm-hmm. So real love is, where's the Bible quote on that? Because it's kind. It's not jealous. No. It doesn't demand things. Real love is like this. So, you know, you pick up sand and you hold sand in your hand, and it will stay there forever and a day. Real love does not do this with the sand, because what happens to the sand? It goes through your fingers, okay? Real love is constant. Now, is that to say that John and I have gotten along every second of every day that we've been together for 26 years? You always say, ha! You know, we have our disagreements.
Yeah,
we absolutely do.
And that's healthy.
And it's healthy. And, you know, have I sometimes looked at him and said, oh my God, I could strangle you right now.
Of course.
Yes. You know, it happens. Yeah. But there is always respect. So I think this is where people get messed up with love, is they confuse lust or desire or feeling physical stuff with love. Love and respect are the same thing, guys. So if you love somebody, you respect them. If you respect them, you love them. And that's a constant. That's a constant.
It absolutely is. Love is not a feeling. Love is a decision. It's a decision that you wake up every morning and you say, I love this person through thick and thin. I love them no matter what they do.
I choose them.
If they don't do anything, I still love them.
Right. I choose them. I choose. I choose.
It's a choice.
It's a choice.
It's a choice.
It is a choice. And especially when you are in the middle of a fight with somebody, and I'm talking a healthy relationship, not an abusive relationship, but a healthy relationship. When you're in the middle of an argument or a disagreement with somebody, you need to choose to your words carefully. You need to choose to be respectful and loving at that time, even though you guys are disagreeing, because you don't want to damage the relationship. So it is absolutely a choice.
It's a choice.
It's a choice. And if you find yourself falling in and out of love, in and out of love, in and out of love, that's infatuation. That's something completely different. So there's a difference between infatuation, you know, desire, physical stuff, and true love. When you fall in love with somebody, you love the whole enchilada. You love their intelligence and the way that they drool when they brush their teeth, and the fact that sometimes they leave the lid up on the toilet seat. You love the fact that they snore at night. You love the fact that sometimes they drool on you. You love the fact that they, you know, it's like you love them when they're kind. You love them when they're, you know, you love them. You love their sense of humor. It's like an acceptance thing. It's like the whole package. You don't pick and choose and go, God, I really hate that about you. Or, man, I wish you would stop snoring. I'll tell you what, you talk to any widow, they would pay solid gold to hear that person snore again.
Yes, they would.
If it was a good relationship.
Yes, they would.
If it was an abusive relationship, no, they wouldn't. But in a healthy relationship, and I always have to make that distinction, I'm sorry, but in a healthy relationship, the widows often tell me, it's like, I would kill to hear him snore again. They felt guilty because they would yell at them for snoring.
Right.
And I'll tell you something, that has always stuck with me. Always. So like if I'm snoring or if John's snoring, we both just go, oh yeah, they're here, they're alive, everything's good.
Yeah.
You know?
That's so true.
Yeah, it is. So that's how you kind of tell the difference between infatuation and true love. True love is kind. True love is constant. True love is respectful. True love is the whole enchilada, not just a physical attraction. There's something about this person's mind that sparks you. There's something about this person's mind that, you know, challenges you in a good way, or, you know, makes you think, or causes you to, you know, giggle, or, you know, things like that. That's what love is. It's the whole enchilada.
Absolutely.
Anything to add to that?
Yeah. Well, love is just patient. Love is kind. Love is forgiving. Love never thinks the wrong of the other person.
No jealousy, people.
Yeah.
No jealousy.
Wrong is not jealous.
Nope.
You know, love is just going the extra mile for that person and giving. It's all about giving. It's not about getting and what you're going to get out of it. It's all about giving.
Right.
And that's in any And that's love.
That's love.
It's all about giving.
And,
Giving of yourself.
Somebody just made a really good point. Abusers mistake love and compassion for weakness. Absolutely. So abusers do look for people who are kind, who are gentle, who are sweet, who, really give everybody the extra chance or the benefit of the doubt, or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Abusers do try to manipulate and use people's good nature against them. So anybody who, and you can tell those guys. So here's the thing. In my experience dealing with abusers, they will make snarky comments about people who are kind. They will make snarky comments. Oh, they're so weak. Oh, what a pansy. What a this, what a that. If the person is being kind. Okay. So pay attention to how they respond to normal human kindness. Do they make fun of it? Do they have disrespect for people like, Mother Teresa? Do they have disrespect for people who, are trying to walk the walk? You know what I'm saying? Right. So watch for that, because that's the sign of an abuser. They're telling you who they are. Believe them the first time. Okay. How did we both find your amazing husband? How did you find your husband? How did you find Dennis?
How did I find my husband?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I met him in high school. I actually met him in high school. Yeah.
Wow.
I was a junior. He was a senior. I was a cheerleader. He was on the basketball team. I know. It's that all-American story.
It is that all-American story.
It really is. But, I think because God knew that I needed such a good man to come in my life and really, really take care of me, that he just brought him into my life. And so he showed up at my locker one day at school, and we both went to a Catholic school together, and we had all those lockers that you visit first thing, put all your junk in at the beginning of the day. And he stood right by my locker, and he looked down on me, and I knew him because he was on the basketball team, and I always admired him. And he just said, "Hey, I'd like to take you out tonight. Would you want to go out tonight?" And I'm like, I was like, well, I didn't know what to say. I was just like silent, but because I couldn't believe,
right,
because of the low self-esteem,
that you deserved it,
that a basketball player would want to ask me out. I was just like, So, but yeah, somehow I got out. Yes, and we went out and we dated on and off for years. So, yeah.
So that's how you guys met.
That's how we met.
So for me, I was in LA. I was doing the acting thing. I was dating, hitting the scene, dating, all that sort of good stuff. John moved down to start his teaching because he got his teaching, career going, and he was at Long Beach, and he was going to teach middle school. And so our friend Brad actually introduced us. And here's the funny thing. Brad walks in and he's like, "Okay, John's here. Okay, I need you to be his friend. Okay, yeah, take him out and da-da-da-da-da." And then he pulls me aside. He's like, "You're going to marry him." And I'm like, "What?
Oh my gosh. Oh, wow.
What are you doing here? Go away."
How old were you?
I was 26, I think, when we first met, something like that. So I was 92.
Oh my God.
91. 91 is when he moved down. So Brad was like, "You're going to marry him." I'm like, "No, I'm not. Stop." And I swear to you, Brad would not shut up. He kept working on John, and he kept working on me. And he kept telling both of us, "You guys are meant for each other. You guys are meant for each other. You guys are meant for each other."
What a matchmaker.
And so, oh my God, he really, and I got to give him proper credit. So, because I kept telling him, "Dude, no, I'm not. No, he's totally not my type." Because, at the time, vain, stupid, young, dumb.
Yeah.
Oh my God, was I stupid? Oh. And I still hadn't worked through all of the low self-esteem. I still hadn't worked through all of the abuse. I still hadn't, I'd been doing the work, but I hadn't really dug in and got all of that stuff handled. Yeah. So we dated platonically for an entire year, right?
Wow.
And so then he started talking about going to the Peace Corps. And I went, "Wait a minute." You're going to go to the Peace Corps. Who am I going to hang out with and watch Dark Shadows with? Because we used to watch it on VHS and stuff. So, we went to go see, you're going to laugh. So we go to see Dracula, the one with Gary Oldman and Keanu Reeves and all of that. And it was at the Westwood Theater, and it was opening night, and we were like the very front row. So we're sitting there watching the screen like this, and it was so loud, and my head was pounding by the time we got out of the movie theater. We come back to the apartment. He's sitting behind me, rubbing my neck, going, "Are you okay?" And I turned to say yes, and he kissed me.
Oh, wow. What a romantic.
I freaked out.
You were not ready for that?
I was so not ready for that. Because low self-esteem.
Yeah.
Low self-esteem. So I looked at him and I said, I want to date other people.
Oh.
It was the first words out of my mouth. And he was like, okay. And then he kissed me again. And I'm like, yeah, that's not going to work out so well.
Oh, I love that story.
Here's the freaky thing. You want to talk, you're set, you've been set up. The very next day, in the mail, I get a wedding planner that was won in a contest that I had entered.
Oh, that's a sign.
If that was not God going, girl, wake up.
This is him.
This is it.
Hello.
And then I never dated anybody else after that.
Oh.
It's like we were together from that day forward.
That story. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's how we. And Brad was right.
He's such a wonderful man.
So
my gosh, you have a wonderful husband.
I know. And you do too.
Oh, yes.
Dennis is amazing. I love him.
He is.
All right. I didn't find real love until I was 36, but trust me, you know it when you finally find it. It's so liberating and empowering. Yes, it's a huge paradigm shift. And it was the first time I realized that true happiness is exhausting. Yes, it is. It can be. Absolutely. Totally agree. How do I recover from disappointing a boss who is very angry about me calling in sick due to a migraine? I couldn't control it. It's a brand new job too. I don't think I have any more. Ooh, I'm not sure, hun. That would kind of be, that would be an HR question. I'm not sure. So how do I recover from disappointing a boss? So, okay. Again, I think this is a self-esteem issue. So people pleasing. So we have a tendency when we've been raised, to kind of like feel good about ourselves, to want to please everybody. And we want to please everybody all of the time. That's not possible. It's not. You can please some of the people some of the time, but you're not ever going to please all of the people all of the time. Right. And I can guarantee you that you are probably beating yourself up more than the boss is. Yeah. So there's a great book called The Disease to Please by Harriet Breaker. Now, that is not to say that you suddenly start taking time off of work left, right, and center and you don't fulfill your responsibilities. Right. But you do check in to see, okay, is this the people pleaser inner child thing going on, or do I really need to say or do something with this boss to let them know that I'm serious? So yeah, that would be something to think about. It's a people pleasing thing, and generally people are not nearly as disappointed in us as we think they are. Right. So something to keep in mind. When I understand my own needs and wants and understand the difference between the two, I am more likely to be able to ask to see that I am loved well. Yes. Oh God. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. So let me just give you an example. So I don't know how many of you saw my video that I did yesterday. I was coming unglued because there was the Playboy model that threw herself and her 7-year-old over a 25-story building. Did you hear about that?
No, I didn't.
Oh my God. It was a contentious divorce case. She was trying to hurt the parent, the dad. She took the 7-year-old up to the 25th story, and the two of them, she took them over the balcony and killed them both. Oh my. Then there was the incident in Texas with the gun shooter that shot and killed 10 people in the school. And then I think it was Texas, it might have been California, but I think it was Texas, was the ex-husband who walked in and shot the brand new family, well, the husband, the brand new husband, and the 4 kids. So I'd been having a really horrific week, and those 3 incidences kind of sent me over the edge. Because this is what I do, guys. You got to understand, I deal with domestic violence cases like this on an everyday basis. And sometimes the results are people die because they don't do what they need to do. Absolutely. Or the court doesn't do what they need to do. Or
they just don't know what to do.
Exactly.
They really just don't know what to do.
So I was in the middle of the night. I woke up at 3:30. Why is it always 3:30 in the morning? Why?
I don't know.
Why?
But you're not getting any sleep,
Oh
girl.
my God. So I woke up in the middle of the night, and I did have a little conversation with God, the universe, Boofa Baba, whatever you want to call him, her, or it. And I was like, I feel so completely alone. I feel like I am the lone voice out there going, this is a problem, guys. Wake up and smell the coffee. Abusers are dangerous. Domestic violence situations can end in death. Be awake. And I felt like I was like, how do I explain this? I felt like I was like Cassandra from like Greek tragedy, where Cassandra was a truth teller or a truth, like a psychic. I don't even know how you put it. Right. But she was like a psychic, but she was cursed by the Greek gods to never be believed. So here she is going, guys, problem. right?
Mhm.
And Agamemnon and everybody was like, Pshaw, there's no problem. And then they were killed because nobody listened to her. So that's how I was feeling. But then it was so funny because, like you were saying, it was like, well, suddenly God, the universe, whatever, kind of started talking to me. And it was like, go read your comments. Go read what people are saying about this video that you just did. And to a last one, Chris, thank you for doing this video. I needed to hear it. Yes, you're absolutely right. This is exactly what happened with my ex. Yes, you're absolutely right, Chris. You know, we do need to have a duty to warn. We do need to take that seriously. It cannot just be an option. It needs to be an obligation, you know, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And to me, that was kind of like God or the universe going, you're not alone. You're not just, you know, smoking the ganja. No. You're not just out there yelling into the wind kind of thing. So yeah, I do believe that God or the universe sends us the messages or the signs or the direction that we need,
that you can just walk right into your setup and you have somebody there that you can help and that you can lead them in the right direction and actually save their lives. And
exactly.
In some cases, you're saving their lives. You're turning their lives around and giving them hope and a future.
And hope in the future is the biggest thing.
Future. And everybody needs that.
Everybody needs that. Everybody. And it's so important because I can't tell you how humbling that was to kind of go, okay, I was being kind of a pouty little bitch right then, God, wasn't I? Yes, I was. Sorry about that.
You know what? God uses us right where we're at.
Yeah.
You know, I haven't arrived. I am far. Every day I'm growing. Every day I'm getting better. I'm getting stronger. I'm getting wiser. You know what? And God is putting me into positions that are making me stretch and grow. And I mean, sometimes places I don't really feel like I want to be, but I never give up. I say, okay, you put me here. I'm going to do this. I'm going to benefit from it. I'm going to grow from it. And then that way, as I grow stronger and better, I can help even more people.
Yes.
You know, there's bigger opportunities out there then. And that's what you need to start doing right now, right where you're at, is that you need to just follow those footsteps where He's leading you into places where you can help people.
Right.
Even if you think you're sick, even if you think you're the worst person in the world, I'll tell you what, you've got a word that can change somebody's life in your heart.
Right.
You just need to open up your mouth and start speaking from your heart.
Right.
And that's basically all we're doing for today.
Every day.
We're speaking from our heart because we love people.
Yeah.
Because we want to help people, and we're laying down our lives for that. You know, we're learning, we're growing, so that we can just give it all away.
Exactly. So
and that's what you need to do.
Yes.
You need to start today.
Yes.
You know, start somewhere. Start now. Start baby steps.
Baby steps.
Just baby steps.
Baby steps.
One thing. Give yourself one thing to do.
Exactly.
And just do it today.
Exactly.
And grow from there.
And Colleen just said she's going to start writing a book. So. Good job, girl. You go.
You can do it.
All right. Oh, and so, okay. Yes, the Mother's and Father's Day cards that say Happy Mother's Day or Happy Father's Day, but not much else. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. There's a little bit of a lag me catching up on all of this stuff. Yeah. And the word was cynical that I could not find.
Oh,
thank you. Thanks everybody who found that. Thank you.
This is fun.
I know. Isn't this cool? See, and you were worried. You're so cute. You were like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. It'll be fine. Okay. Love from a distance. Yes. Okay. You know, Kathleen, that is a brilliant idea. Yes, you should start a card company for people who have difficult, toxic parents so that we can have something to send them that is not necessarily like, oh, thank you for being such a fabulous father, when they were either absent, abusive, or alcoholic, or drug addict, or whatever. You know, it doesn't need to be snarky, but yeah, absolutely. I think that's a great idea. Go start a company. That would be fantastic.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Because it's needed, because not every mother, obviously, is evidenced by the Playboy bunny killing her son, or the father who walked in and killed the family is, you know, a good person. Okay. So yeah, I think there is a whole group of us out there that are in the same boat, that when Mother's Day and Father's Day come along, that we're like, I don't want to give that card. How about just have a great day? much. You know, I mean, that's it. One can love a person, but not their actions and their words. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That is when you can see what lies beneath the actions, the words, but it's not easy. Oh, no. It is not easy. And that's, you know, again, that's where, you know, faith and support is another reason, you know, whether you are a Christian or a Buddhist or, you know, whatever other religion out there, get support, get with other people. That is what is needed when we are coming out of abuse. That is what is needed when we are going through a difficult time. This is why I love like the Buddhist monasteries and the churches, because you have a community there.
Support system.
You have a support system there. Again, be aware, as with anything, and in any group, there may be narcissists, there may be abusers in there. Just use your gut and your head and your heart. It's like, listen.
Yeah.
Don't be aware. How do you turn it over to nature? Well, okay, so it is what it is. So I use a lot of the AA terminology. And when I turn it over to a higher power, I turn it over to nature. It's like, okay, this is what it is. Can I do anything about it? No, I can't. Okay, is worry going to help? No, it's not. Okay, wind, take it away. You know, or I'll write it out and burn it and let the smoke take it away. That's how you turn things over to nature. You just, we're going to start singing again. Let it go. Yeah, we're just going to let it go. There she goes.
Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go.
Exactly.
And then who created the nature?
Bingo.
Hello.
The universe.
The God of the universe created the nature. I love nature. When I go outside, oh my gosh, I get a high. I get a high out of the beauty of this world and what God has created.
Right.
And so, go outside and feel that energy that is out there and just breathe in his world and admire his world. And I'll tell you what, it'll lift you up. And once you get lifted up, you'll be able to let go of some of this junk.
Yes, absolutely. And that's just it. It's like, if it's beyond our ability to change, like if there's nothing we can do about it, you have to let it go, whether it's giving it up to the wind or burning it or praying or meditating or whatever.
Get out of the situation.
Get out of the situation. Get it out of your consciousness, because it's like prayer. It's like worry is a prayer for bad things to happen. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that, because it's true.
Is.
Because you sit there and you're like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And then you end up making it happen. If you go, if you go, okay, problem, not a really great solution, but here's the one I can come up with. Great. We'll go with that. Let it go. You know, you do your best you can with what you got. And then you let the rest go. Okay. Hold on. I'm reading. Okay. And so here's, so somebody is writing in and saying that there was an abuser in their life that just wreaked havoc and like a bulldozer and just blew up everything without taking any responsibility. The hardest part of growing and of letting go is accepting the apology that you will never get.
That's right.
Let me just say that again. You must accept the apology that you will never get.
That's right.
You got to let it go. They're never going to take responsibility.
You can't change somebody's will.
You can't. And that's the thing. There is free will in this whole thing.
It's a free will. You can't change them.
It's a free world universe. So it is. It's a free will. And so if they're willing, you know, to accept responsibility and go, gee, this is what I've done. Great. Huzzah. Miracle. I'll take it.
That is a miracle.
It is a miracle. I mean, and seriously, it's a miracle.
It is.
But 9 times out of 10, they don't take responsibility. Why? Because their ego is driving them, and they cannot admit that they are wrong, and they cannot admit that maybe they made a mistake, and they cannot admit that maybe they should be doing this instead of that, and they are listening to, the dark side. Hello, Satan.
They are.
You know?
They're under his power.
You know, seriously, when people consistently choose wrong over and over and over and over and harm people and hurt people and lie, you can betcha that there is something not on the light side at force here.
That's right.
They
saying. Are definitely under the power of the enemy.
Yep.
And you know what? You cannot change people. Only God can change people.
Right.
And so you know what?
You can pray for them.
You can pray for them.
You can pray for them, but
Absolutely.
don't allow them in your life.
Nope. Say goodbye.
Yeah. See, and that's
see you later,
see
alligator.
You later, alligator. I love you from afar. And I pray for you from afar.
Exactly.
And it's just like when I do the Tonglen meditation. So it's no different You remember how I talked about idiot compassion? It's perfectly okay to have compassion for people, but you don't want to have abusers in your life. And it's the same thing in the Christian religion.
Absolutely.
So you can pray for them, but you don't have to have them actively in your life causing drama or problems.
No.
But you can still pray for them.
Yeah.
But they don't have to be around you.
And it takes guts to do that.
It does.
I mean, it really does. It's a decision that you have to make. It's a good decision. So, and it's hard. It takes guts, but you need to walk away.
So how do you love somebody who's intentionally damaged you? So for me, and I can only speak for myself, and Mary June's going to talk about her experience. For me, I had to work through the anger, because the anger is valid. Your anger is 110% valid. Did they harm you? Absolutely. Did they abuse you? Absolutely. Were they horrible to you? Absolutely. And I finally came to the decision that it is a choice as to whether or not I am going to allow them to continue to abuse me by hanging on to the anger and the hate, or am I going to let it go? And it's not about them. It's not about giving them a free pass. And I think this is where people get confused. Is people think, oh, you forgive them, therefore you think somehow that the abuse was okay. Has nothing to do with that. But here's the deal. It's up to them to deal with their karma, or to deal with Saint Peter when they go to heaven, their actions. Their actions are on them. It is up to me to deal with my reaction to how they treated me. Am I going to create more harm and more upset by hating them? Or am I going to go, okay, shit happened. I can't change it. They are who they are. This is their problem. I release them with love.
Yes, you do.
Goodbye.
That was perfectly said.
Thank you.
Perfectly said. Because you can't change them.
You can't change them. You can't change. And it's not about forgiving them, like giving them a free pass. No, they did what they did, and they are responsible for what they did. But you are now responsible for, okay, now what? And
you're responsible for the way you feel and how you handle the situation. And what you can do is you can absolutely tell yourself, I'm going to let this roll off my back. I'm not going to worry about it. It's not going to affect me in any way. I choose unconditional love. No matter what that person does, I choose to love them. Love them from afar. Again,
love them from afar.
Love them from afar. Pray for them, but realize you're not going to change them.
No. All you can do, honestly, is go, okay, here's the path you're on. Here's what I see happening. And they will either go, oh my God, you're absolutely right. Let me change course. Or, and this is what I had to learn as a counselor, is like, you can't save everybody. If it was up to me, I would save everybody.
I know.
I would also adopt all of the puppies in the pound. It's a thing. But you have to kind of go, look, here's your choice. Here's your path. If you go this way, this is how it's going to end up. If you go this way, this is how it's going to end up. It's your choice. And sometimes, because they are so in the fog, or because they are so deep into the dark energy, they choose the wrong path every single time. And then you have to kind of go, okay, I did the best I could with what I had. And free will. Hello, free will. Again, all you guys, you made me cry a little. I forgave and let go of all the poison and hate for my mother. I did love her, and I hated her too. Yeah. And that's where we get so conflicted, because there is that love-hate kind of thing going on. And that's normal, guys. That's 100% normal.
Absolutely.
Let go of the hate.
Because they hurt you so badly.
They hurt us so badly. Yeah, absolutely. I realize that the hate takes too much energy. Yeah. Good for you. All right. It's coming up on a year since my husband was arrested and later convicted of domestic violence. I've never stopped talking about the abuse and the hell he put me through. I'm going full throttle in everything I do. I barely feel the need to sleep, even though I'm dangerously hypothyroidish and now have developed heart conditions. So I want to address this, guys. When we have been under stress, like abuse stress, okay, it's no different than being a prisoner of war. They've done studies on this. It is like exactly the same. The heart rates, the thyroidism, the heart issues, the stress, the cortisol levels, the everything, because you've been under attack. and if we're going to get spiritual about this, you've been under spiritual attack because abusers will demand that you believe their lies, that you lie yourself, that you cheat, that you do the same things that they're doing. So you have been under attack. You have been living like a prisoner of war.
True.
So your body is going to have all sorts of autoimmune issues. When you come out of an abusive relationship, it is imperative you take good care of yourself. Get with a good doctor, get with a good naturopath, get your spiritual house in order. Make sure you are being nourished spiritually as well as physically, because you are going to have all of these issues. Hang on, let me finish this one out.
Get to the gym.
Get to the gym, absolutely. The doctors are baffled why I'm not sleeping. Between pushing my body beyond its limits and dissociating. Okay, so it's PTSD, guys. It's PTSD. So my recommendation, sweetie, is to get to a doctor, to a good doctor, to somebody who understands the physiological, the body response to trauma, because that sounds kind of like what's going on. So seriously, get with a naturopath, get with a good doctor. If it's a naturopath or a Western medicine doctor, get with a good therapist. You might want to try EMDR. That can help because it will help you process the trauma that you've been through. Because basically what's happening, hold on, I got to explain this just a second. Give me a second. So, okay, here's your brain. Okay, left side, right side. This is the amygdala. The amygdala is stupid, 3 O's. Okay, it cannot tell the difference between a threat, a thought about a threat, a future threat, daydreaming, an emotional threat, a thought about an emotional threat, or something that's happened in the past. So when we recall the trauma, okay, we've been traumatized, we've been abused. When we recall the trauma, the amygdala lights up like a Christmas tree and goes, it's happening now, when it actually happened 20 years ago. Okay, it can't tell the difference. Or it will light up if we think about a trauma, or if we think about maybe a future trauma, like what if, okay? Or we think about an emotional trauma, or maybe or an emotional trauma that's happening. This thing acts as if it's happening right here, right now, which causes the body to go into fight, flight, freeze, or fawn mode, which means your body starts releasing cortisol because you're getting stressed, tense, because you're getting ready to run away, kill something, freeze like a bunny rabbit, or give in to the abuser so that you're not killed. If your body is up at that level 24/7, you're going to have adrenal fatigue. You're going to be burning out all sorts of systems on your body. Your body's like a fine-tuned car. It really is. And if you're not putting in good fuel to it, and if you're running that poor car with less than a quart of oil and bad gasoline, and you keep taking it over like, the Crown King Road where I broke my struts. Yeah. If you do that, your body's going to break down. And that sounds to me kind of like what's happening. So it's, you want to address both. You want to take it from both the psychological point of get with a good counselor, get with EMDR, get with somebody who does CBT that can help you work through the trauma, but also get with somebody who can help you care for and take care of your body, because yes, it does break down with PTSD.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I hope that answered that question.
That was good advice.
Thank you.
That was the right advice.
How do you fix a relationship with a person that, like a daughter, who wants nothing to do with you and you do not know why? How do you let it go? Well, here's the thing. Free will, again. So if somebody doesn't want anything to do with you, all you do is let them know the door is open. That's all you can do. You can't force them to have a relationship with you. And this often happens in cases of parental alienation. So like where the one parent has turned the kid against the other parent in order to win, when really it's a no-win situation. Everybody loses in that. So all you can do is keep speaking your truth, and all you can do is just let them know the door's open anytime, because you never know when that child is going to go, maybe dad was lying. Maybe mom was lying. Maybe I need to investigate this a little further. You never know when they're going to go get counseling. You never know when they're going to want to, have contact with you. So instead of, tit for tat, well, fine, you don't want to talk to me, screw you, I don't want to talk to you either. You kind of go, okay, well, I respect your choice. I get it. I get you're pissed at me. I don't know why. But if and when you are ever willing or ready to talk to me,
that's right.
Doors open, and let's do it with a counselor. Always have a third party. I think that's a really good idea. Any suggestion on that?
No, I feel the same way, and I think that you just have to let that person know that, that no matter what, that you still love them, and you just understand they're going through a season in their life right now, or whatever it is, or a hard time in their life, and just don't question them, and don't try to dig and interfere. and get to the bottom of it, because they're not ready to share exactly what it is. They have to work through it.
Right.
But let them know, as they work through what they're feeling, your feelings have never changed.
Right.
My feelings will never, ever change for you.
Exactly.
I love you.
Unconditionally.
Unconditionally. And, in times of our lives where, like, I have 4 boys, and they were, they're boys. They did boy things.
Which is what boys do.
Yeah, that's what boys do. And I guess, they're healthy because because they tried just about everything. So anyway, there was times that I had to just, they would get in trouble. And so, but Dennis and I were always there for them.
Right.
We said, you know what? We hate what you did. We don't agree with that. You were not raised like that.
Love
and
the sinner, hate the sin.
Better than that.
Yeah.
And we know what's inside of you. We know that you are an amazing person. You're a person, you're a man of integrity. And we don't know why you chose that. It doesn't matter.
Right.
It happened, but you know what? We love you. Nothing could ever change our love for you. Nothing.
Right.
Nothing, nothing, nothing.
Exactly. And you just keep the door open. That's all you
keep the door
can
open.
do. So as a society, we are taught that love is a fairy tale that is ingrained in us. TV, social media, etc. Abusers mimic these. And I do want to address this. So I had somebody else write in earlier asking about writing romance novels, because guys, you guys don't have to just write about abuse. You don't. You can write whatever the heck you want.
Yeah.
So it's just like the singer who I am encouraging, go you,
Yes.
go sing, go be seen, because you're awesome. So if you have got the great American romance novel in you, yes,
we need to
write it. But here's the thing. You don't want to write a romance novel that perpetuates abuse. So you don't want the heroine putting up with, all of this horrible stuff that the hero does to her until he figures it the bleep out. See, I was about to swear again.
That's okay.
And then she suddenly goes, oh, that's okay. I love you. Blah, blah, blah. Let's get together and have this great, romance. What? So, if you're going to write romance novels, you may want to run them by somebody else. And, it's like, look at this from the perspective of, is this perpetuating dysfunctional romantic ideas? Because love is not a fairy tale. Love is work. I hate to break it to you.
Yeah, love is work.
Love is work. You got to work on it. And it drives me crazy when people are like, oh, it should be, this thing that you just kind of put on automatic and you don't have to do anything. You've got to constantly check in with your partner.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
And give compliments and
keep dating.
How many years have you been married now?
Oh my gosh. Well, we've been married 47 years.
47. I know she doesn't look old enough, does she? I know.
Oh, you're so
I know.
kind. You're kind. You're so kind.
And John and I have been together 26, and we date. We date. We compliment each other. We cuddle.
Yeah.
We talk to each other, not at each other. When we have disagreements, we work it through. We don't hold grudges. We act like mature adults. And it's work. This is by no means easy. It's not like, boom, easy button, done.
No.
It takes work. So for a romance novel to be like, oh, happily ever after, and then you don't ever have to do anything ever again is really dysfunctional.
That is not true.
Yeah, it's not true. And you want to stay away, if you're going to write a romance novel, you want to stay away from the victim stuff, because I know a lot of romance novels has the female being the victim who needs to be saved. Don't get me started. Oh my God. Yeah. So you want to stay away from that stuff. If you want to write an empowering romance novel, write about real emotions, write about communication, and you can have some very dramatic stuff going on in all of this, but it doesn't need to be abusive, and it doesn't need to be dysfunctional, and it doesn't need to be perpetuating this whole fairy tale, white knight in shining armor coming and rescuing the damsel, and then happily ever after with absolutely no consequences, no responsibility, and no work being done.
No.
So I don't know.
That's so true.
Any thoughts on that?
Well, you pretty much said it all.
Okay, sorry.
I'm just agreeing with what you said.
Okay.
It just has to be a mutual respect for one another, and just meeting each other's needs. I always, when I wake up in the morning, I'm like, how can I make this a great day for Dennis? And my focus is on him. My focus isn't on how he can meet my needs, but my whole focus is how can I make this a great day for him? And out of total respect and love for him.
Absolutely. It's all about respect, guys. It really is all about respect. And I think this
Men
is
need
where,
respect.
yeah, well, and women need respect too.
Absolutely.
We do. And I think this is where
Absolutely.
people get foobarred, is that, again, they think that love is this thing over here, when in fact, it's really about the relationship. It's about the communication. It's about the respect. It's about how do you talk to each other, or are you talking at each other? Do you call each other names? Ooh, don't do that.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, how do you speak to each other? I hope you speak to each other the way you want to be spoken to.
That's right.
You know, and it's amazing to me. It's like, I cannot tell you the number of times, I'm just sound so old right now, but it's like the number of times millennials have sat on my couch, and their idea of a term of endearment, I'm going to swear, is asshole and bitch. And I'm like,
wow,
how is that a term of endearment here? And they do. They think that, and I have to reteach them, because nobody taught them. You don't speak to each other like that. No. So, okay, hang on. A couple more questions. Higher powers. Whoa! Mayday. Higher power is always sending messages. Yes, like the wedding planner. Yeah, absolutely. When we look at the little things, the big things happen. So happy that you act upon those signs, Chris, and found love. Yeah, thank you. Me too. This video has really helped. Yay! Good. I helped a friend express his feelings about bullying and abuse. Good, great. This is why we do this. This is why she wrote this amazing book. For those of you that are Christians, and even those of you who are not Christians, this is a great book. I got a lot of great little nuggets out of this. Okay, and I'm a Buddhist, so you know it's a great book for inspiration. So, okay, hang on. Who's the woman next to you? This is Mary June Collins. She is the writer of You've Been Set Up. Very inspirational, very awesome. A woman of her faith. You know, she is amazing, and she's a good friend of mine. So, okay, hang on. Okay, blah, 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 blah. Here we go. Hang on. Yeah, it took a long time to find a card that wasn't a lie. Again, somebody out there, start the card company. You got it. I don't know. It could be like Dysfunctional Family Card Company or something. I don't know.
Have you ever heard of send out cards? You can make your own card.
Mary June, why don't you talk about what your regular job is, so they know that you're not just a woman of leisure? There you go. Talk about it, girl.
That is my business.
Talk about it.
My business is send out cards, and it's actually an app on your phone. It's an app on your phone that you can send a card, a physical card that goes in the mail, and the person you're sending it to, they'll receive it within 3 to 4 days. But you can pick a card out of the catalog. There's all different thank you cards, happy birthday cards, any kind of cards you could ever imagine is in the system, as in the catalog.
Are there blank cards?
You can make your own card. You can design your own card. And then you can put tons of pictures on the front of the card, pictures that you took on your phone. You just download them right on the front of the card, inside the card. Really, really cool system. It's a building relationship system. And so, yeah, you should look into send out cards and start sending those cards.
I was wondering when you were going to do that.
I know. Act on your promptings. That's the best thing that we can do, is act on those promptings that we get all the time. Oh my God, I need to tell that person how much I love them. Oh my God, I need to appreciate that person.
Oh my God, I need to talk about send out cards.
Yeah, oh my God, somebody died and I need to send them a card. Well, you know what? You don't have to go to the grocery store anymore. You don't have to buy stamps. You don't have to find a mailbox. If you just do it right on your app, you send it, and send out cards will print it, stamp it, and mail it for you.
And you don't have to deal with it.
And you can also send gifts. You can send gifts too.
Exactly.
So it's amazing.
And she is amazing.
Please get in touch with me if you want to do that.
Oh, yeah. You can send like brownies to people, which I love. You can send cookies. You can send, what are the other things? There's all sorts of little gifty things.
There is a whole gift store that you can get.
But I still think one of you should come up with like a card that's like for dysfunctional families, because I just think that would be funny.
Yeah.
So,
I think that would be so easy to make.
It would be so easy to make. What are good ways for survivors to set goals and make healthy friends? You need to surround yourself with other healthy people. So how do you do that? Mm-hmm. You surround yourself with people that have the same moral compass you do.
Absolutely.
So you go do things that you enjoy. You go do things that light your fire, because what oftentimes happens is when we come out of an abusive relationship, we don't know who we are. Mm-hmm. We have lost who we are. And so it's really important to start surrounding yourself with people who are filled with integrity, who have a moral compass, who are, in going down the right path, who are successful and who are, able to lift you up. You don't want to hang out with people that are going to drag you down. And it's just like in AA. So it's like in AA, we always talk about, you don't want to go hang out with the old friends because they're going to try to get you to use again because you've changed, you've grown. They do. Yeah. That's what they try to do. So what you want to do is you want to hang out with people who have a common goal. And in goal setting, it's, again, self-esteem. People who love themselves set goals. So it's okay to give yourself permission to set goals. It's okay for me to set goals. It's all right. And then that's your first goal. There you go. Boom, done. Hey, you succeeded. There you go. And then you set another goal, and then you set another and another and another. And you don't overwhelm yourself, because where we get screwed up, and I don't know about you, but I try to take on too much stuff. Yes. And then I get overwhelmed, and then I'm like, I just want to stop.
Women do that.
Yeah, we do. Well, guys do that too. But yeah, so you want to take tiny goals, one goal at a time. Baby steps. Baby steps.
Find yourself a good church.
Yeah, there you go.
Find yourself a church that is not all about a bunch of laws. Find yourself a church that is full of grace.
Yes.
And then you'll find good people. People that go to church are hurting people. They're sick people who are trying to get well. And that is the truth. And so find yourself a good church.
Right. Exactly. And that's just it. It's like, I think people, unfortunately, especially with things that are going on in this country at this point in time, have got a really bad image of what Christianity is. And it would be the same if people were abusing Buddhism. So there are wonderful, wonderful churches out there. There are also some churches out there where I'm just kind of like, did y'all get the point about judge not lest ye be judged? Somehow I think y'all missed that one.
No.
So yeah, you want to find one that is loving and supportive and kind and there.
And where you don't have to be perfect.
Yeah. Yes.
You don't go to church perfect.
Exactly.
You go to church to learn how to be a better you.
Bingo.
Build yourself up on the inside and have some belief in something that's really going to help you.
Right. So exes do deny things. So here's the thing, guys, and we've talked about this before because this question up there. Abusers will deny that they've ever abused. Absolutely. Because they're not going to admit it. They're not going to walk into a room unless caveat, they've literally, and I do mean literally, had a religious experience where they have been slapped upside the head and they have no choice. Okay. And how often does that happen? Not often enough. They're not going to take responsibility for what they did. They will deny what they've done. And abuse victims will also deny that the abuse is as bad as it is because they don't want to deal with it, because they don't want to cope with it, because then it makes it real. So when you are around somebody and it's making you feel crazy because you know what happened, but other people are going, no, that didn't happen. They're trying to rewrite history. Guess what? Be done. Bye-bye. Kick those people out of your life. Be done.
So true.
Be done. I think it is helpful to stop assuming abuse is a dynamic, like not two to tango. Yes. And this is where, oh my goodness. This is what I talked about yesterday, is that the court system and the attorneys and the judges and sometimes the police always assume, and assuming makes an ass out of you and me, that it takes two. Okay. In domestic violence, it takes one. It takes the abuser. And the abuser will move heaven and earth to make the target of abuse look crazy or look violent. They will take videos and edit them and then send them to the judge, hoping that the judge isn't smart enough to realize that the video has been edited. Okay. I mean, do you see where I'm going with all that shit?
Do.
Yeah, they do. They do this all the time. This is why I was talking yesterday about the judge that just tossed everything because he was like, this is bullshit. Goodbye. And I was like, oh! I mean, that man was a godsend. Oh, girl, tell you what. So I'm praying that there are going to be more judges like that because, so it's when somebody is denying reality and you know that you know what you know, then what you have to do is you have to be like, okay, done. Yeah, we're done. I'm not playing this game anymore. It's not worth my sanity, and it's not worth your friendship. That's not a friendship. No. Friends support each other. Friends are real with each other, and friends speak the truth. They do not lie. So there that is.
That is so true.
I think it is helpful to stop assuming, okay, yeah, we did that one. You're welcome. Okay, hang on. So many questions. Yeah, when the abuse comes through officials, it's very difficult on the target of abuse because there's not enough training out there. And this is why I want everybody to share these videos and educate the heck out of the legal system, the political system, the universities, the up-and-coming counselors, is that they need to understand what domestic violence is and what domestic violence is not. So, yeah, absolutely.
You are so good at what you do.
Thank you.
I'm learning so much.
Thank you.
Wow.
Goofball.
I love this.
I'm an ordained minister and attacked so many times about my faith because they knew that was important to me. Yeah. God did get me through all of the abuse. My love of life and faith pulled me through. When you are religious of any kind, doesn't matter whether you're Christian or Buddhist or Hindu or Hindi or any of these religions, and you have a strong faith, you will be attacked. You will. How many times have I had trolls try to attack me on these videos because I'm speaking the truth and they don't like it?
They don't like it.
They don't like it. So, and here's the thing. You just kind of got to go, okay, you know what? You don't like it? Turn the channel. Doesn't matter. Keep speaking your truth. And this is where our faith, no matter what your faith is, pulls us through. And this is, like I was saying, that night where I was like, oh my God, I'm totally alone. Nobody's hearing me, et cetera, et cetera. And then it was kind of like God, the universe, whatever, was like, no, go look at the comments. And several people were like, you saved my life. Thank you for saying this. Right. You need to go talk to the politicians. Why don't you go to Washington? And I'm like, I would, but I inhaled when I was in college. So anyway, yeah. Plus that would be a full-time job. Okay, let's see. A couple more questions and then we're going to have to end it because I've been monopolizing your time. I'm so sorry.
This is good. This is all good.
Okay. Oh, good. Tanya, I'm glad we could help. That's good. All right, hang on. Here we go. Send out cards. Yes, Yay! Send out cards is cool. Okay. We love it. But how do you get rid of toxic friends in a polite way? That you don't. Here's the thing. You can do one of two things. You can either allow it to die by attrition, because oftentimes toxic friends are usually minor narcissists themselves, and they're all about them. So if you just suddenly stop responding, they probably won't notice for quite a long time. And then when they do respond, you can be like, oh, really busy. Sorry, really busy. Oh, look, I got a dental appointment. Really busy. Oh, gosh, I hear my mom calling me. Really busy. Do you see where I'm going with that? You let it die by attrition.
Absolutely.
With some
they'll get it.
They'll get it eventually. And some of them are some of them are really into drama. So what they'll do is after a while, they'll start demanding that you meet with them and demanding you explain why you're not friends with them anymore. And you know what you do? Block. Yeah. Click. Yeah. Delete, defriend, do whatever you need to do for your peace. Yeah, absolutely. Is it easy? No, it's not, because we're people pleasers. Disease to Please by Harriet Breaker. Get it, read it, live it, love it. There you go. But yeah, it is the best way is to just let it die by attrition. You don't necessarily want to go to them and say, you're toxic, I'm letting you go, because hello, drama. Okay.
You don't want to open up that can of worms.
Okay. All right. Here we go. Thank you, Tanya, for letting me know I'm not alone. I appreciate that because I was really struggling with that yesterday. Okay. Anger is always based in fear, even if it's just anger. And here's the reason why. So the question is, you say that anger is based in fear. I'm confused now. In which case is anger just anger? So, and when you say just, I'm hoping you mean like just cause, it's a justly, it's a what's the word I'm looking for? It's righteous anger. So even righteous anger, even just anger is based in fear. So it's because somebody's harming somebody. So when we get angry, it's because there's hurt, there's fear. It's fear-based. So yesterday when I was just livid about this woman throwing her 7-year-old off the balcony with her. Now, if she just killed herself, tragedy, horrible, awful, terrible thing. But she made the decision, she made the choice to take a 7-year-old boy's life away from him to hurt the other party. Inexcusable. And that makes me angry because in my mind, and this is where my mind went, and this is why I teared up yesterday when I was doing the video, I literally could put myself in that little boy's shoes, and I literally could feel myself going over the balcony and how he must have, how he must have felt going over with his mom, sitting there lying to him, oh, we'll be fine, everything's going to be fine, everything's going to be great, splat.
Wow.
You know, I mean, do you see where I'm going? So that's why, because for me, it was terrifying.
Mm.
It was terrifying to think of somebody being allowed and able, and, you know, and people then go, well, why did God allow it? Again, free will. You know, you can't blame God for this one.
No.
Yeah,
no.
this is free will. This
It's all
woman
about the person.
probably had multiple choices to not do this. She
Yeah.
probably had multiple exits that she
And
could have
ignored them.
taken and ignored them. And
And
it's
ignored
interesting to me that her attorney dumped her 2 months ago.
Mm.
Attorneys don't dump somebody unless they feel like they're not going to win.
Mhm.
Yeah, the bad ones, anyway. The good ones stick with you, but the bad ones go, peace out. You don't have enough money, or we're not going to win, or blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
So anger is always based in fear. And for me, it was anger, just anger, righteous anger that this woman chose to take this little boy's life. And I could feel what it would be like. What would that be like to be that little boy out of control in the arms of a mad woman?
Well,
25 stories, you know, how awful, how terrible, how frightening. And that just killed me. And then the father who chose to go in because his ego couldn't handle the fact that she got away from him and that she married somebody who was kind, and he punished her by killing all of the kids and then the new husband. How horrible and how frightening and how horrific that this happened. And it happened because the judges didn't listen, the attorneys didn't listen, society is not listening, and that's frightening to me. So that's where my anger comes from. I hope that explains it. Does that
absolutely. Absolutely.
So, okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'm angry too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a righteous anger. It's like, really?
Yep.
Is this really happening?
Yeah. How do you forgive someone that has abused you? We kind of touched on that, sweetie. If you go back and listen earlier, we kind of touched on that. You got to get through the anger first. You do. And it's the hurt, and it's the sadness, and it's hard for us because we have to give up the idea that we could ever have a healthy, normal relationship with our parent. And that, you know, when my dad died, we were sitting around the table. I think I've told you this story. Maybe I haven't. We were all sitting around the table and we were reminiscing about things about my dad. And the saddest thing that my brother said was he just looked like he was 6 years old. I just wanted to take his little face in my hands and just go, baby doll, it's going to be okay. He said, now I'll never get his approval. Game over.
Oh.
And that killed me.
Yeah.
That absolutely killed me. So it's hard to forgive the abuse. You don't forgive the abuse. The abuse happened. It was horrible and you did not deserve that. However, to hang on to that anger, to hang on to that is going to kill you. You got to let it go. And we talked about it earlier. So if you can, when we're done, rewind, go back, listen to what we talked about. Okay, hang on. I'm going to try to wrap this up in 10 minutes. I'm so sorry we went over. Are you okay with this? Okay. Cool.
Good.
Okay.
This is good.
So hiding my spiritual path to protect it. Yes, abusers will want you to either adopt their dark magic, because honestly, I have seen black magic practitioners be abusers, and they try to get their target of abuse to practice the same black magic. No bueno. They try to get the target of abuse to lie, to cheat, to steal, to change their moral compass, to give up family, give up friends, to do polar opposite of what they would normally do. Or if somebody is religious, they will try to get them to give up their Christianity, their Buddhism, their Hindu, their Hindi, their whatever it is, because they don't want the light. Guys, what do cockroaches do when the light is shined on them? Abuse thrives in the dark, and that means dark magic. That means evil. It means, you know, they don't want the light. You have anything to, nothing good.
Nothing good.
So you do have to hide your spiritualism when you're in an abusive relationship, because they'll try to take it away from you. Why? Because that gives you a connection, and they want you isolated from everybody. I'm not kidding. When I say they want you isolated, I don't just mean from family and friends. They want you to be cut off from God. They want you to be cut off from the universe.
Control.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. Okay. All right. Toxic friends, you tell them the treatment's not okay and that you deserve relationships that are healthful and respectful. Yeah, and you call them out when they are disrespectful and you don't put up with it. You can absolutely do that. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay. All right. No one really listened to me regarding the warnings that my estranged husband had an unregistered gun and was angry and dangerous. I'm very fortunate to have gotten away safely.
Oh,
yeah. So
Wow.
We're going to wrap this up, guys, because I've been, we went an hour overtime. Because I promised, she's like, well, how long is it going to be? I'm like, half an hour to an hour.
It's all good.
It's all good. Okay.
You know what? We're helping people.
Yeah,
and that's why it's just all good.
For sure. So basically, I want to remind you guys, this is a great book. And even if you're not a Christian, you will get great little nuggets out of it. If you are a Christian, you're going to love this book because it's a great little book. It's a reminder. It's hope. Okay. It gives you hope. And she points out the passages in the Bible that she found to be helpful and hopeful. And she tells stories that everybody can relate to. And it is just a wonderful, wonderful book.
Yes.
So
it'll transform your life.
Yeah, it will.
It transformed my life.
It did.
Yeah.
And it is available on Amazon. Is it print on demand or is it just on Amazon?
I think it's print on demand.
Okay, so it's print on demand on Amazon. So go find it. It's a great book. You've been set up by Mary June Collins. You don't have your picture on the back. Why don't you? Oh, it's in the inside. Oh, look.
It's in the inside. There you go.
There it is. So it's a great book because it's like, step out and do things that you've always wanted to do. That's what we talked about. It's like the things that stop us. And generally, guys, anything that stops creativity, anything that stops goodness, not today, Satan.
That's right.
Seriously, it is the dark side.
We all got baggage that we need to deal with.
Absolutely.
If we don't get that baggage out of our life, we're not going to be all that God created us to be.
And we won't be able to turn around and help other people.
Yeah, and we will not feel fulfilled in life.
Exactly.
We're not going to have that. The greatest fulfilling ever is doing what you were called, what you were created to be and do.
Exactly.
Knowing it and doing it, and then you will have the greatest fulfillment ever.
Absolutely. So guys, if you've got that great American novel in you, start writing every day, every day.
Do it.
If you need a coach, a book coach, get a book coach. How do you find them? Do you just go on the internet and look them up?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So just go on the internet and look up book coaches. Yeah. Find a book coach.
Use mine.
Use hers.
He was fantastic.
What was his name again?
John Mason.
There you go. John Mason. So find the paths, the avenues. They're out there, Get with a good therapist. Overcome that fear of success. Overcome that fear of being seen. Work on the inner child. Do the self-esteem workbook. Work on the disease to please. Take care of yourself physically, mentally, emotionally, and most of all, spiritually. You must do that in order to be successful. Okay, kids, I think we're going to call it good. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for listening to us today. I want to thank Mary June Collins for being on my show.
Thank you.
And you're welcome,
thank
sweetie.
You,
I just love
darling.
you. Thank you.
I appreciate it so much.
Yeah, thank you. And next week, I have no idea what we're talking about, so I'll figure it out and I'll get back to you on Wednesday and let you know what's going on. All right. Love you guys. Talk to you later. Bye.